Banana and Bears Rugby Pod.
Well, tremendous to have you, everybody. We took a little sabbatical, let the dust settle. Welcome to Banana and Bears Rugby Podcast. Uh, the great and powerful Henry Sellers is over. If anybody's not what I'll put this up on YouTube, but at the same time, if you can't see the tiny writing at the corner, Anna is Henry Sellers, who made the BBC. Probably your greatest choice of pseudonyms. I brought me so much joy to see that. Such a throwback or like nuance level of
Well, I to text you to tell you that I was like, hang on, I can't come into the meeting yet because I can't remember what name I was going to use tonight because I knew I had a funny one.
it. That's the
Only
beauty.
the real ones know.
That's the beauty of. See, you pull back the curtain there. I was willing to just not tell them that at all. Just that Anna's so spontaneity. She comes up with these. No, she puts time. Well, do you know what? People know that she puts time and effort into these moments of silliness just to make me happy. And if anybody wonders who Henry Sellers is, Father Ted season 2, I think, go have a look. He made the BBC, much like Anna made the BBC over the World Cup. Hey, I tell you one thing, for a one who was only telling me, I'm in for this old game and that old game, you got dug in like a tick for the whole lot of it nearly, didn't you?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it was class. And like getting the semi-final. I don't know when was the last time we spoke. I think we spoke just before the semi-final, actually. Did we?
Yeah,
right?
well, we messaged a few times, like, but it was, actually spoke on the pod and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was prior to the
we did a
semi-final.
pod. Yeah, because we would have done it after the quarter-final with the bite.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is that right? Did we do a pod on the bite?
The bite.
So yeah, I did the semi-final, Canada and New Zealand, which was just unbelievable. Like Canada are just fucking unbelievable. And then I was working for the final, but not for the BBC, not on the telly box. I did a panel for Asahi.
Yes. Nice. A nice beer, by the way. A rice-based beer. Very nice.
Which was Clasahi.
I think that'd be way funnier if you had a lisp while you're up there the whole time, just going, it's lovely to be here for a Clethahi.
Yeah.
Do you know what you were? You were the human commentator embodiment of a bag of squishies. Because with a great intention of maybe only having 3 or 4, Christ almighty, you just can't help it. The BBC kept on going back to the bag that was Anna, and just went,
oh yeah,
Jesus Christ, have to have more of the squishy stuff, because the stuff she's putting out is not only the good rhubarb and custard flavour, the original white and pink, because we love the flavour pink, whatever it is, I don't know.
yeah.
But,
so anyway, it was great.
Yeah, but all great signs. Great to see you on the telly box and taking over Britain in your own little way. I like that. That. The Corkonians have a habit of doing that. But it's you, Killian Murphy now, and Graham Norton, essentially, isn't it? Have just taken over the trifecta of Corkonians have just taken over. Yeah, but anything British or media related. I love it.
I better get in touch with them so we're all on the same page in terms of infiltration.
Well, there's a WhatsApp group, if I'm not mistaken. I was thrown out of it when they found out I was some tape. Like, I was fucked clean out. They weren't. Kept putting by and everything at the end of my sentences. Didn't make any difference. They found out at the end, it fucked me out. But unreal. I mean, as we said, the dust has settled on the whole thing now. And we saw the celebrations. And to be fair, the celebrations, I won't say they were mooted watching the English women, but it was almost like this expected. Do you know, they were like, oh no, we had these bottles of champagne bought a couple of weeks back. Like,
no way.
Had they not?
No way. I have to disagree with you there.
Had they not?
They hadn't played well all tournament. They were literally like, so you go from down in New Zealand where they're kind of playing well all tournament, here and there, but they're still like getting big wins and they're so comfortable. They didn't, and then they still lost the final. They didn't play well at all. Maybe on the opening night a little bit, and then since then it was a total lull. Like the next 2 rounds, the quarter and the semi, were all like France thought that they had the beating of them, like at some stages in that semi-final, like so. And Canada were way better. Like if you had England how they played in the semi-final versus Canada how they played in the semi-final, Canada would have won that. But it's really, I think most people were kind of like, yeah, England have it in the bag because people follow England, and it's one of the
Yes,
Six
yeah, yeah,
Nations
yeah.
teams that's just, they have just such an unbelievable record. But like, if you've been following Canada like the whole tournament, like they were unbelievable. Like that semi-final versus New Zealand is one of the best rugby games that I've seen from any complete performance by any team I've ever seen. Like it was just, they
Well,
were unreal. Yeah.
you tipped him. You tipped him, and you were like, Tom, watch their second row. She's unbelievable, kicking and everything. Like, Jesus
So
Christ.
good.
Yeah. What
She
what
won.
a what a
She won
name.
Player of the Year.
What a
Yeah,
name, like Jesus Christ.
I said that or I actually said it before comms, and someone kind of turned me off saying it on the telly. But I wanted to call her Sophie de Goody, Sophie de potential player of the championshipy,
But
and
who put you off that? That's
someone
absolutely
was
gold.
like, "Oh, but what about yeah, but I think Meg Jones will win it because and I was like,
Yeah,
but did
with
you
all
not hear the
great
word potential in there? And then she got nominated. I was like, fuck's sake, I should have just said it because she was unbelievable. Now the thing is, the interesting thing is that there was no player of the championship. It's player of the year. And she
right.
barely played this year, whereas Meg Jones was outstanding in the Six Nations. Um, and then you Georgia Miller, who got injured and she didn't play her best for New Zealand, but she's class as well. If you take the whole year into consideration, Meg Jones really should have won it because Sophie Goody was injured, but they actually put more weight, even though it's Player of the Year, they put more weight on the World Cup. So it's kind of more about what you do in the World Cup, which kind of makes sense, I suppose, because they present it on the field right there. And you know what? Like England, to be fair, they produced something that they hadn't produced so far in the tournament. That's
Like
how
South
they won.
Africa. Like fucking South Africa. Like they just stayed on the ropes until it was ready.
100%. And you
Yeah.
know what? Like it actually, nothing else matters. If that's
Nope.
how you win, then that's how you win.
Yeah.
And they won it. And you know what? I was delighted for him. Like even the Canadians were obviously heartbroken, but they were still very, gracious in defeat. Like when Sophie de Goody won that award, and they were all there, like standing there just after losing the World Cup final, and she like walks over to them and they just hoisted her up in the air and they were lifting her up and down, like so delighted for her. It was just so nice to see, like they were still not like, oh, we're so grateful to be here. Like they wanted to win. Like they were
Yeah.
hugely disappointed. So yeah, fair play to England, but I think it's such a monkey off the back of women's rugby. Like, I'm just so glad they've won because now we can all get on with our lives,
Yeah.
Honestly,
Right, girl.
I wouldn't,
Right.
yeah.
That'll do now, girls. Right. On with the show.
Yeah, as in,
Yeah.
like, okay, that's done. They won the home World Cup. There's no more like ghosts of the past like lingering around. It's fair game from here on in, boys. Even though I just after posting a rant on I I recorded like 3 reels today, ranting in all 3 of them, and I have them all like scheduled to post, and 2 of them went out this evening. So you'll enjoy those now when you look at them. But one of them is basically saying about Australia, and I was pure like, well, someone kind of cynical said to me during the tournament, because nobody could stop talking about how amazing the tournament was.
Yeah.
I have to say, the RFU, the women in the RFU, like some of the women who like set their sights on selling out Twickenham, and all of those things, and there's more of that I'll come back to in a minute. But they did an unbelievable job of running the World Cup. Like it was just sensational. Someone very cynical said to me like, well, we can kiss goodbye to this because we'll never see it again. I was like, what? She was the first person I heard say that. And she's not, we don't know her, like you wouldn't know her, she's from a completely different country. And I was shocked. I was like, what? I thought we were going to be like Australia now next. Like they've got to get their shit together. They're getting their shit together with the men's. They've cancelled all their debts. which was, they published after the Lions tour that the Lions tour like allowed them to cancel all their debts, and it looked like things are really looking up for Aussie rugby. But like Australians are really into women's sport as well. Like the women's sport has a massive following down there. I was just like, this is going to be really good. Like we've got 4 years to get it right. They're getting back on track. Joe Schmidt has worked wonders. They've cancelled all their debt. And then, I don't know, did you see this? They released, well, it's actually, I don't know in what form it was delivered from Australian Rugby, but Australian Rugby news outlets reported that women's rugby has received a 25% cut of funding.
To what end?
4 years out from the World Cup. I don't know. There's no explanation. There was 3 slides. The first one is the cut of 25% cut on women's funding. The second one was a cut in funding for sevens, which is awful, but it's happening everywhere. And like, the sevens isn't going to bring in money. Like it's got a great Olympic vibe and an Olympic connection, and that's really important. So it's a real shame to have that cut. But if something's going to go, it's going to be your sevens first, because it's not going to make money for your union. The third thing that they cut, pathways. They've cut 25% funding to their pathways. Now, we've spoken about this before around the Lions, around like everything, but I obviously played a season out there. The competition for participation in sport in Australia is so enormous that the second you turn your back on a child in Australia, they run away and they're gone into the AFL Oval. Like,
you make it sound like there's a creepy man in a van just rounding up, but the door opens on one side, but it also opens on the other side where the child runs through, and then rather than being snatched up like a child snatcher, they just run through and pop out the other side with a mullet and a sleeveless like wife beater t-shirt. And they're kicking a kind of a funny shaped brown egg.
Do you know what? That is what's happening, But it's not just a creepy man in a van. It's like, people coming into your school, like people like picking you up on the side of the road, like in any form. It doesn't have to be a creepy old man. It's like young coaches, men, women, everyone. Like rugby league.
Yeah, rugby league
has thrown money at the women's game, at their development. Like it is like literally, if Australia Rugby takes their eye off any of their members, they're gone. Like they'll be gone. Like you're actually losing out if you play rugby union, because the opportunities in other sports are so much bigger. And it's then mental. Australia Rugby, it's mental. Australia Rugby they're signing expensive NRL players to come and play. Because obviously it's 2 years out. I can't believe it's 2 years out from the Men's World Cup now. 2 years out from the Men's World Cup, and they're signing expensive NRL players, and that's where they think they're going to get their support from. That all the NRL fans will come across and follow those expensive players. They fucking won't.
No, they won't.
Making this decision.
Like, but all you're doing is Jesus Christ. You're just, you're putting the good furniture out in front of you've burnt your house to the ground. But you're inviting everybody over for a party, but you put all the nice furniture out the front that isn't yours. You've only rented it for a while. And you go, come on over. And people land in and go, where's the stuff? You're like, don't worry about that. Well, sit in the furniture. Come on, look at our lovely furniture we're sitting on. Like, I don't think that's your furniture. I'm not sure I'm not sure we can be friends anymore. This is a very strange environment. Like it would seem you'd have to say it's self-sabotage. Like the Welsh are drowning, but they're drowning because they've no money. Do you know what I mean? They straight up have no money. The Australians gloated about clearing their debt. Do you know what I mean? And then Jesus, you've got the World Cup coming on. You know what I mean? You have oh my good jeez. The pathways one is the one I can't wrap my head around. What?
Me neither.
What?
Well, sorry, we say that. So you're like, okay, if you were going to argue that, okay, we need to put the women's to the side for now because the men's has to come first, and then we'll kind of blast a bit of funding at it 2 years out and see. Yeah. So, like, whatever. But I think if you're seeing what has just happened in England, And like we've been fucking, it's been so shit. Like saying it for years, like please support the women's game, please. And just having people, every Tom, Dick, and Harry come back and say the women's game is shit. Like no one likes it, no one watches it, no one goes to it. Like I knew, and I always knew it was fucking bullshit, but I knew that they were right to an extent because the investment wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like, you think that I didn't know that the women's game was shit. We knew, we fucking knew that it was bad and that it couldn't compare to men's game, but because it was, instead of, sleeping in on a Monday morning, you get up and you go to work. Like the difference that makes, like to an athlete, and like now, and like fucking fair play to all the girls who just performed out of their skin, because the quality of this Rugby World Cup just gone was just
Oh, the quality, like
so
there's
great. But we knew that this was possible. We just needed someone to believe in it, invest in it, and whatever. So, shock horror, here we are. The quality of the rugby is good. So no one's taking the piss out of the rugby anymore. Everyone's like, oh, so it's amazing. I don't know if we got to talk about this the last time. I don't think we did, but like the highest attended World Cup ever. Do you know these stats? Have you seen this?
the highest attended World Cup ever. No. It's got to be in South Africa, was it?
No,
No.
no. It depends on the size of the stadium, you see, as
Yeah.
well. That's relevant. And also relevant who's playing. So the highest attended would have been?
I thought 95,000.
Mm-mm.
More? Where?
Oh.
Where was it?
2003. England and Australia in Sydney. And it was 82,500 or something like that.
Okay.
So the only other stadium that could hold a capacity that much is Twickenham. So when the final was there in 2015, England didn't feature. So it only got like 80,000. So this Women's World Cup final is the second highest attended Rugby World Cup final ever. And there was 81,855 people there. So it's only like 125 people short of full fucking capacity. Like, how insane is that? Like, that's for me, like, that's unbelievable. And anyone who like knows rugby for a long time really appreciates this kind of stuff. But Champagne Rugby, I don't know if you follow them.
Yeah.
They shared a thing that was like, that basically said this, the highest attended and then the second highest attended, the men's and the women's, like that it was amazing, And they also shared another one that said Twickenham the last 2 weeks had almost 82,000 for the women's final, and then there was 70,000 at the rugby championship, which we're going to get on to in a minute.
Yeah.
And basically the point was, look how great rugby is. It wasn't like comparing them at all. Like across both posts, comparing the two finals and then comparing the two games in Twickenham, was basically saying, isn't this great?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, as you were saying that, I'm like,
because this was my point, right? It used to be women are shit at rugby, right? That's not true anymore. Like, obviously, no one likes it, no one watches it. None of those things are true anymore. So they don't know what else to say now. So their big thing is how many of those tickets were given away for free.
Oh, Lord save us. Yeah.
Now let me
Oh my God!
Has
anybody been to the Aviva in recent fucking times? And I can tell you, most people wearing red trousers haven't bought their fucking tickets. I can tell you that.
That's absolutely true. And there's some fucking bunch of Kiwi toenails going around commenting and everything, saying they gave away so many free tickets for the final for the women's final down in New Zealand. They did through businesses. That's what's happening in the men's game as well. But so corporate tickets are being given out free left, right, and centre. Yeah, they are. Like, sorry for you. And also, if you're trying to grow a sport, what do? You give free tickets. Like,
these are people who don't know. They don't know how these things work.
To clarify, the RFU and the people working for the RFU who planned this tournament said, we will not give away free tickets for this event. That was their thing. There will be no free tickets given away to this event. But corporate corporate buy the tickets, you see. That's why people get them for free.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't one free ticket given away for any of the games for this, and that's direct intel that they've shared. Like, and they said no, that every ticket was paid for. There was hospitality with tickets for like £500 that were all sold out. So like the toenails are running out of excuses. Like, I don't know what they're going to come up with next.
I do wonder, like, I mean, because it can be these sweeping statements, because I meet people that say things like this all the time. But the great thing is I can call them out in the real world because we're standing face to face. So I get great level of, what's the word for getting stress off your chest? Okay. Oh God, I had it, and much like you're in your cellars, it won't arrive back now for another minute. But it's I can deal with it in the moment. And they say these sweeping statements, and it'll be like, nobody likes women's rugby. You're like, whoa, whoa, you don't like women's rugby. Who do you know? You fucking idiot. And you're like, well, do you have a little club at the weekends where you all, it's titled, We Don't Like Women's Rugby? You don't know who likes what, you fucking idiot. You don't like women's rugby, but it makes it easier in your head to say, all people don't like. And you're like, no, clearly tens, hundreds of thousands of people like it. Tickets were fucking bought. You know what I mean? So I never take like, and hence why I don't go into the comments. But you love swimming through the comments. You put on your togs and you goggles,
but
and you love it. And I
well,
don't.
I do, because it's not. But I've learned so much from it as well.
Yes.
Like, because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
it's not just in the comments. Like, there are people who say this in real life as well, and like how we've seen things change in the comment section is also how I've seen things change in real life.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But we said
you
it.
know,
We said it fucking 3 years ago. Rugby needs money on both fucking codes. But the only thing that gets thing over the line, unfortunately, it'd be lovely to just have a flowery notion that everything was going to get better. But we went, no, investment needs to be. These need to be made professional. Investment needs to be put into marketing and whatnot. And as you said, the people who ran the RFU. I'm telling you now, if you had half a brain in Australia, and I don't even mean a full brain, I mean a little bit of a brain, you'd go, who the fuck? Get me the top 5 people that did that, that did exactly that. And
yeah,
I don't give a shit what they're working at right now, or what's in their pipeline. They all have a price. Get them over here for 3 months, minimum 3 months, and we fucking glean them of everything they know and what they did, and we'll pay them whatever they want, whatever they want, and we'll copy that exactly. Do
yeah,
you know what I mean? Because
yeah,
they just found they unlocked the code. They
yeah.
unlocked the code. They found the key to it. And for Australia now, that'll be another 8 years. Where does it go next after? It's not America, is it? No. Where's the women's one go next after that?
Yeah, it's USA. So
It
it
is.
goes men's, women's,
Yeah.
Oz, men's, women's, USA, which is so
Yeah.
bizarre, really.
Well,
Um,
I mean, no harm to lay a bit of track, I suppose, if the pitches are ready and you know what I mean, and you have staff now who know what to do in these areas, especially in America, because you'll have to be schooling a fair few people, like, you know what I mean? But
I despair. Anyway,
you'll love it. You'll love it. Because they're, if nothing else, they're fucking enthusiastic, the old Yanks, like, do you know what I mean? But albeit you will be explaining a lot, you know. But what I'm saying is, would you not, like, that's an 8 year gap if Australia dropped the fucking proverbial ball, not the real ball, the actual proverbial ball on this marketing wise. If they drop the ball on it, that'll be an 8 year gap from England to America. Because you know the Americans will do a good job if you ask them to. They'll do a fucking good job. You
the
hope, anyway.
highest the highest attended women's sporting event ever was the women's FIFA final in 1990. It was held in ooh
Was it Dallas?
somewhere in the states.
Was
Somewhere
it
in the
Dallas?
states. I don't know.
It
Was it
sounds to me like it was Dallas. I don't know why.
No, I feel like saying New Mexico. Um, there was 90,000. That's still the high. That was in 1990. Still the highest attended women's event. Actually, maybe it was passed out recently enough, but for a long time, like since 1990. So you're right. That is there. Like that, they could do a great job on that. I don't
So
know. It's still not convinced by it.
no, but I mean, at least Jesus
Well,
Christ, you'd hope that the momentum that's been put into the game now won't drop. come Australia
Australia,
if they've done what we think they've done, like.
yeah, Australia is the place to get it right. Like if you were to choose anywhere else, really, that would be like behind women's sports. Australia would be up there.
Yeah.
So for this now, but they've got a big challenge even with men's rugby.
That's
Like,
what I mean. Like they're the absolute
you know,
langers have clipped their own wings like when they were just flying it. Do you know what I mean? Like you could hang the whole men's game on Will Skelton right now. Like do you know what I mean?
mm,
He he's the Jonah Lomu of Australia. Like he is the
mm,
icon. Like
yeah,
and for them to start doing things like cutting pathways, cutting after clearing their
yeah,
decks,
you're right. Actually, do you know
Jesus
that's a good
Christ!
point.
Like
That
this
there's
this is the
probably
time. This is the time to capitalize. To go, Jesus Christ, we've a guy that everybody loves. He's a really good speaker. Everybody really likes him. And he's the biggest human on the pitch. Everybody loves him. He's super passionate. Let's name burgers, streets, young babies after him. Let's like have him on the news every night in the lead up to this World Cup. Like, do you know what I mean? Because
agree.
that's what you do. Look, love it or hate it. Look at what boxing and UFC do. They're gross in loads of ways, but fuck me, do they know marketing? Jesus,
Mm.
do they know marketing? They can make the most boring shite look amazing because they know exactly how to ram it up your nostrils with both. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
oh God, I hope Australia, because Australia kind of coming good. Do you know what I mean? They look good the last year anyway under Joe Schmidt. Like they seem to have pulled their trousers up.
Who? But sorry, isn't Joe Schmidt finished now?
Yeah, yeah,
He was
yeah.
finishing after the rugby
Les,
championship,
I think
right?
I think Les Kiss is going in. I'm near. I could
Oh,
be.
sorry,
Don't wrong
he
me.
is.
Am I
Is that
right?
was that confirmed? Yeah, I think so.
I know
That's
it.
what I thought as
It is.
well.
In my mind's eye, I can see him in a yellow jacket, like you know what I mean, like giving the thumbs up kind of a
Mm.
thing, like I'm next, kind of.
But he was in working with the women's side as well, and he was brilliant apparently. So I was thinking he might get the women's job, but apparently he's like, I don't know, is he nailed on for the men's job? I don't know.
You'd
Um,
nearly assume that Joe was after giving the nod. Like, do you know who you need now next? Is this lad? Do you know what I mean? Because he
Poor
does.
Joe Schmidt. Like Joe Schmidt's trying to retire for years, and he's just like, please, please leave me go. Please
Yeah,
leave me out. They're like they barricaded him in all the doors.
I'd
He's
say
not allowed out.
Al Joe is addicted though. You know what I mean? If you're that level of a mosh door, which he is, like he was a headmaster, wasn't he, or a school teacher anyway. He can't walk away. He's like Michael Corleone. Like you think you're
Like a
gone,
vocation.
and they just pull you back in. You know what I mean? You just can't get away from it. Like,
But there's
uh,
also probably a scope there for him to hand over kind of the work he's done now because like with Ireland it finished a bit sour. Do you know there's a good thing about quitting while you're ahead as well.
oh, it's true. But at the same time, like you listen to players who came up under Joe that they train tracked over into the Andy era, and they lay it all at Joe, like the groundworks at Joe Schmidt's feet. Like they're going, no, no, he made us professionals. Do you know what I mean? Like he made us professionals, and Andy had an easier job than most to take over
Mhm.
after him. Whether Joe, I suppose the Joe situation, maybe it went a bit sour and he stayed that bit too long, like or whatever. But who knows how long you're supposed to stay? Like you know what I mean?
I
Because you
know,
can't
I
pull out in the
know.
middle of a Six Nations. You know, you go, shit, I'm in for
You
five here.
won the first game of Six Nations. I'm out. I'm out. Good luck.
Yeah.
See you.
And I'm done.
On that, while we're kind of talking about like the old players and what um, Conor Murray. Did we get to talk about?
No, we did not. We didn't at all. Now we've been waiting for this. Like,
Right, yeah.
I,
Now, I wonder is it worth the read, the book, but like obviously there's been a lot of,
I'm gonna Spotify it. I'll be honest with you. I'd
oh
love to.
yeah,
I'd love to read it more, but I think it's coming out on Spotify in a few days. So,
oh, that's good to know.
so I'll.
I'm paying up for Spotify, so might as
Yeah,
well use it.
exactly, and that's my thinking behind. Like, I'm gonna get me books out of it too. Like, so,
Yeah.
um, yeah, it'll
But
be an interesting read. But yeah, it would seem the excerpts they're going for the hot spots where he didn't seem to have much time for Graham Roundtree anyway. Like he was.
well, I just thought it was really interesting that he basically, and this is what players have to do, right? Like you cannot say these things while you're playing. You can't say them
Nope.
because it's your employer's number one, and number two, they hold the keys to your success. So like, you just keep your mouth shut. So he obviously was disapproving of how they spent their money, but like that that's obvious. Like that was obvious from the outside that they made so many poor decisions. Um, and so he finally kind of came out and clarified that, like that he them as a player group, and he personally was really disappointed with how things were going in Munster. And the way people, again, sorry, the comment section. But this is the reaction. You just want to see the reaction. I couldn't believe, like, everyone was like, he just sounds like a bitter old fucking Egypt. Like, he's clearly this, clearly blah, blah. Like, I was shocked. I was like, I thought that it just goes to show, like, you can't ever, like, speak after you've finished something saying, like, that wasn't great. Everyone's just going to say, well, it was clearly your fault.
Well,
I couldn't believe it. I felt so sorry for him.
that's exactly. Obviously, maybe I was very naive. I heard these comments and I heard him say it, and you know, and I kind of went, "Oh, fair play, got a breath of fresh air here, a bit of honesty." You know what I
Yeah,
mean? No,
yeah.
I don't know. I didn't. None of us are privy to the scenario. Like I met Graham Roundtree that time at that ball, and he seemed like a nice man. I'm sure he is a nice man, but anyway, it was neither here nor there. There didn't seem to be any heat between anybody in the room. But I was going, it's a fair point. And for like 2 days, I listened to a few clips on like some news talking that I had no idea that anybody had. I thought everybody thought like me for a moment. I was that knob. I thought everybody thought like me, going, oh yeah, well sure if it is what it is. I mean, he was there at the cold face. Sure, what? And then and then just like that, this barrage of going, like, but who does Murray think he is? Like, I'm like, hold on to fuck. He's a three-time Lion. Are you fucking joking me? He clearly it was a huge mistake dropping him that time, that first game, and it wasn't against the Sharks. I think they dropped him. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm,
And I don't think Murray was like he's not a sensationalist sort of fella. Like, but I couldn't get over how they were just going. Yeah, like you said, like the comments came to life with these guys going. Oh, yeah, I mean, who does he think he is? And you're like, hold on, you blubbery
yeah,
bastard. You have never even seen a rugby ball, let alone you're questioning a man with over 100 caps for his country who, like I said, a three-time Lion. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, he's allowed, and let's be honest, because they were banging on going, yeah, but Roundtree won. No, fucking yeah, Roundtree didn't win him a fucking URC. They won a URC, you know what I mean? But I thought it was a breath of fresh air, but then I listened to an interview and it was a podcast with Peter O'Mahony. It must be one of his first ever podcasts. And he gave away nothing. I mean,
oh,
nothing.
shock.
He had a few little anecdotes about the days, the crack with the lads playing. And that was that. He gave away nothing. And you could see why he guards it. He was like, do you know what? It's either all in or not at all. Like, because you're going to
Mm,
get eviscerated, especially now that you've left the game. He's probably smart and thinking, you know what? What's the fucking point? Like,
what's the point? Yeah,
what's the
that's
point?
why. That's why I really feel sorry for Conor Murray, and that's the only reaction I've seen. Well, see, it's easy to say that when you haven't actually read the book as well. I haven't spoken to anyone who's actually read it and been like, yeah, that was really honest or really fair or whatever. But that whole thing of who does he think he is? It's like he was such a servant to Munster.
Oh,
Like he was one of the best players in the world at one stage. Did he get nominated for Player of the Year at any stage?
I don't know if it did, but I was
He
trying to
should have.
think. Oh, I mean, it was the world and their mother that for a 2 year period there, he was the best, one of the best players. He was certainly the best nine in the world anyway.
He was the
Like,
best nine in the world for sure. Yeah.
he defined the role like because his like Mike Phillips had the size as well, but he never had the speed of pass. Do you know what I mean? He never had the ruck speed. Like he never had what Murray had. Like the try
Mm,
scoring ability that Murray had, the strength and defense that Murray had.
mm.
Never had it. So he'll never be replicated in what he
Yeah.
was, and never the sort to get sent off. Never a mouthy fucker. Nothing. This one
Yeah.
time he spoke honestly. And
I know.
sounds like a sour bastard. You're like, what do you like? What do you want from him? Do you want him to
So,
like? I listened to Rob Kearney's book, and
mm.
I'll be honest, Anna, I didn't get all the way through it. There was two things. One, not a lot of interesting content, and there was a lot of dates. That's all I remember. And the guy doing it had an even more D4 accent. Than it was so not a book for me at all. I'm like, here.
Are you sure you weren't listening to Ross O'Carroll Kelly?
It was, do you know what? Russell Carl Kelly would at least have, fucking written a few people or done something. But it was just like, yeah, so, on this particular day, I didn't make the team and I was bloody not happy about it. But look, I went back to Dave and we had some porridge. And before you know it, we just went for a walk, our dogs in Ranelagh, and, had a, had a little cheeky vino. And next day, I'm just, back in the training pitch, and that's that. And the entire book went like that. It was like, oh God, Rob, would you kill somebody or something in the fucking middle of this, please? Would you actually steal something?
Yeah. Did he say that? He said that he didn't get the right at all. Is that it? This is a big
Nothing.
40-year-old virgin.
Nothing. No, nothing on the scene. Nothing. Nothing.
Oh.
Like
Russell Carl Kelly would have got the right.
But you know what I mean? Like suddenly towards the end, a wife appeared. I'm like, oh, right. Okay. Jesus, right. Okay. Okay. So I'm not saying Murray wrote this or maybe had a good tutor. I don't like sometimes ghostwriters, if they have had an input to the thing but if they had a good tutor going, like, let's go balls in. Let's go all the chips across the table here, Connor. It's either that or don't write the book at all. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, maybe. But I think that pressure is never on any of these lads when they write these books. Like,
no.
They're all as vanilla as Rob Kearney's, mostly. Like, there's some interesting, funny stories. Like, I enjoyed the very beginning of Paul O'Connell's book about him growing up and the swimming in the club scene. I really enjoyed that. There's some more elements of some other ones.
Keith Earls' book was interesting because that was Jesus.
I haven't read that one, actually.
I have it. I actually have it somewhere in the office here, and I'll give it to you. I read it twice because it's worth it. It's not like, I'll tell you, think of the antithesis to Rob Kearney's book.
Fine. But that's so. The thing is, though, none of the ghostwriters and none of the publishers are putting the pressure on them. And also, if they do put them, they probably do. Come on, give us a few juicy things. But actually, at the end of the day, they still don't have to say anything. So that was obviously Keith Earls had kind of a lot of other stories going on. I don't know how critical he was of anyone or anything in Munster or Ireland or whatever. But like for Conor Murray to criticize that in his book and then not have people kind of empathize with him, I just think is fucking lousy. And I think fair play to him because I know from the women's side of things, like when I was playing and like players retired, I was relying on them so much to say something so that our setup could fucking change because none of us could say anything. So Murray's doing this out of a place of, like, he's got nothing to gain from it. It's for the betterment of Munster, actually.
That's really true, yeah.
Holding people to account within Munster. Like, if Munster should be embarrassed, or whoever he's speaking about should be embarrassed by what he said, and then they need to be held to account, like, why was such a player like this unhappy, and how do we do things differently? So he's doing that. And I'm not surprised at that, because he's fucking Munster. He is Munster, like,
Yeah.
He embodies it so much. So if things improve off the back of something like that, well, it's thanks to him. Even if people like can't see that, it's still a good thing that he told those stories and he's thrown himself under the bus a little bit for the betterment of the game.
That is a very valid point you make, because, like you said, he's not the gain. The book will sell well anyway because it's Conor Murray. But I do think you're 100% right in that it will. Now, I don't think that. I remember you sent me on a clip one or an article about Clayton McMillan. He seems like an absolute bastard, a kind of bastard you like. I'd say, like, I just took a picture of him from TG Cahir the other night, and he was being interviewed, and they were so nice. Like, do you know what I mean? There's Clayton, do you good? And he's like, oh, it's just like. I know we all fell for the charm of Graham Rowntree. He was, there was a Santa Clausy vibe to him. Like, he's a proper club, man. I like a proper club, me, And McMillan was like, yeah, well, it's all right. You go through the game, if I can listen. And you just sensed like he was going to go and eat somebody inside, like, just bollock somebody. Like, somebody was getting absolutely, as they say in Cork, fucked. Like, he just had that fucking like that lumbering fucking giant kind of, oh, Jesus Christ, he's going to fucking rip me a new one. And sometimes that doesn't hurt with fully grown men. You know what I mean? A lot of the time, I'm not saying you got to be an absolute fucking ferocious animal, but apparently his means for laying out the year in front of everybody is very, very clear. Nobody's wondering what our plan is. He's very, very clear. Like, but you set me on. It was when the Chiefs? It was an article about when he was with the Chiefs, and
Mm.
they lost the Super Final, and the lads cheering down the corridor, and he opened the door, said, "Listen to that." Oh, oh, reading that article, it was fucking in my heart. It was like, Jesus, there, this guy, this guy's like, that's a fucking animal. Like, I don't care. I think about you more, but he knew he was thinking about the next season. Just think about this
Mm.
hurts right now. That's how
Mm.
much I want you. And you're like, to have the wherewithal and the, 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 the space in your mind to go, all right, we've totally lost the super final. I'm going to still use something here. And he opened the door so they could hear the singing from down the corridor. Like, fucking.
You're dead right.
Do you know, like, he fucking
Mm.
is. Yeah.
So it's exciting to see like and a few of the Munster players doing well. I'm sorry now, if another season goes by and the Munster fellas aren't getting a look in, I'll be fucking mad.
Yeah, I mean, if now, I mean, you can't take it as a snapshot, but I mean, if you did take right now, Leinster, if you were just taking that snapshot, Leinster are due a lot of players back, but their strength and depth was always Naya, you know, it was always strong, like, but
Now, I didn't like this interview with James Lowe at all. James Lowe's there like the interview and asking about like, oh, bad start to the season or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but a few of us are due back, so it'll lift the squad a bit. I was like, fuck
okay, what a
you.
thing to say, like, yeah,
Yeah, I was like, fuck you. Like, what? That's not the actual issue there. And also, Leinster fucking C and B team were supposed to be as good for any URC opposition. So, like, I just thought it was hugely disrespectful. And, like, yeah, fine, fair enough. I was just like, well, you better fucking do something now when you come back because I just thought it was a horrible thing to say to you about your teammates. Fine, if you want to hold them to high account, like, but I didn't like it at all. It was like, fuck you.
and
I'm like,
I'll tell you now, they'll do nothing this fucking year because the point of difference for me for Leinster. Players are players, right? They don't have a Brian O'Driscoll. You know what I mean? They don't like, yes, they have one or two freaks, but they don't have a Cheslin Colby. You know what I mean? They don't have somebody like they just don't. That's simple as they're a very good team, a very well coached team. And
mm,
who was coaching them up until very recently, but has left, and he's gone to Connacht. Only Stuart Lancaster. Now, obviously, he wasn't with them. He was with Racing or whatever, and that didn't work out well. But he's gone to Connacht, and Connacht look class. They look fucking class the last two games. And Leinster looked fucking rudderless. And people go, well, they were down in South Africa, you know what I mean? And Sam Prendergast, of course, he's never going to look good behind a pack that's going backwards. And I'm like, everybody's starting. What are you talking about? Yes, okay, fair enough. You're down in South Africa. But you do have a raft of internationals still playing. Like, Robbie Henshaw's playing last week. You've Ryan Baird. You've these lads playing. Like, what?
also, Prendergast is the starting Irish out half,
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean,
according to some people.
yeah. I mean, I
And then
mean,
Jack Crowley fucking making URC team of the week, like just sensational. Anyway,
okay.
anyway, we what do we yeah, we can keep this snapshot and we can refer back to it and be like,
Yes,
yeah, we were right or we were wrong.
yeah, 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 yeah. But I mean, there's some class looking stuff from a Munster point of view. Um, Personal fave. I can't believe I said fave. I let it that together. Urit. um,
Well,
I,
all
I
right.
really I really like seeing Mike Haley. I like seeing Mike Haley flying it, and he was flying it the week before last. And then you have this new kid that they've signed, Dan Kelly, who's Irish qualified, very interesting player. Now he's a bit to do to get ahead of Tom Farrell. Tom Farrell, the unluckiest man in Ireland, like URC fucking royalty, but couldn't get a sniff with Ireland in the
Mm,
summertime. I guess he's what is he 31, 32. I guess he's but still get the fucking no harm like to bring the
mm.
guy in. So he's due
Yeah.
back. Um, And out of the darkness comes a couple of players are coming back. Roman Salanoa, the Hawaiian son himself, the big goose is coming back, and he looks like a fucking cylinder. He looks like the kind of cylinder to be in your house with a set of arms. He's absolutely and Edwin Adogbo is back as well. So be very like that's a big. I mean, and that's saying Tyburn is light for a second row in the modern era. Weird thing to say about an 18 stone, 6'4" man, but he's light. But you put Edwin Adogbo behind Ollie Yeager, you've got a different type of scrum with John Klein beside him, Um, so they're back. So I was delighted because there's times you kind of think, Jesus Christ, he's still around. Do you know when you see the injury upstates, you're like, oh, God, that must be harsh. Must be harsh.
No, yeah.
But
Actually, yeah. Do you know what? Munster do a good kind of injury, minimal injury season.
by all accounts, that is what they've been doing. They've been doing kind of old school high end fitness, but the sort of stuff rather than overtraining in the gym and overtraining on the pitch. What they are doing is lung busting stuff like hill runs and boxing, just boxing training to get I guess the anaerobic and whatnot on a huge scale. But I think though his attitude to is, you'll be fit, you will be fit, but what we'll need to get it make you hard as fuck. Like his emphasis is gone. No, you were known for years ago being hard as fuck. Let's get back to that because he looks like this. He looks like a fellow who's hard as fuck. So I'd say, but even the way they were, like I noticed that rucks were everybody was like all the backs were having it. Did you watch the match were you able to see it on Friday night?
I did. Hang on, Saturday.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
We haven't done it in a while, but may I make a suggestion for clatter of the fucking tournament so far? The smallest guy on the pitch, Tacker Abrams, almost got. Do you remember the second centre went for Cardiff? He went to pass outside to the winger. He was last man, Tacker Abrams, but Abrams managed to catch him as he cut back inside. He gave the dummy and went to cut back inside him, caught him, brought him up parallel with the ground. He not vertical.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, no. Ooh, that was like so close to being a red card.
But I think he didn't crank him up into the air. His leg came up all right, but he did he must have broken his coccyx or something. Like the guy couldn't fucking move after the tackle. And this is a light man hitting a much heavier man. Like the technique was immaculate. Like you'd imagine, like you don't want to be high fiving him while the guy's on the ground fucking holding his back. But at the same time,
there was a big clatter.
There was a major clatter. Like one you wouldn't like. That's not who you. That's a first centre kind of does that shit, or a flanker does that shit. This is the very light winger, fucking slamming your man into the dirt. It was like, ouch, whatever you've done there, you've hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And Leinster have persisted with wearing the wee jerseys. What's that about?
I thought they had matching wee shorts.
I thought they did too. Actually, did they ditch the shorts? I wonder. Did they root out the old ones from last year? I wonder. Did they go, we'll root them out because we do look like we weed ourselves?
I think that's stupid. Like because I thought it was cool. I know everyone is giving out, but everyone loves giving out anyway. But they obviously took it personally. So this is the danger when you don't read the comments. You see, if you're just like in your own echo chamber, and then you all of a sudden hear that like, I must. Oh, people don't like it. Like you learn like what to take from comments and whatnot. But everyone gives out about everything when they see it first. Like every new jersey, people give out about. Like Munster, all it takes is the first comment, right? If someone brings something up in the first comment to say, "Oh my God, this is class," everyone will say the same thing.
Yeah.
But if someone says they look like they piss themselves, everyone's going to say they look like they piss themselves. So the piss themselves brigade got there first. And they seem to have cancelled the wee shorts. I thought it was cool. I like yellow.
Well, the wee shorts. I mean, yeah. Well, you did play for La Rochelle, like you know what I mean.
Well, that's why I went to play for La Rochelle because they had a yellow jersey.
And it was a particular wee colour too. Like in all fairness, it was nice. Well, it was kind of runny egg, mixed with wee, which is in itself, it's an achievement to get there. Like, I mean, it's not normal that you get there. You know, Claremont had your number when it came to the gross yellow. Like,
Oh
but
yeah. Oh
no,
yeah, they know I prefer banana yellow. But anyway, Castor, like
yeah.
I'm
Uh,
sorry, I'm
sheesh,
not a fan.
sheesh. I'm doing a sheesh moment here with Castor. How did you end up there, guys? Whose son has become marketing director of that thing that you're after getting into bed with
Well,
that?
you know what someone told me about Castor, right?
Yeah.
I've only heard this through the grapevine, so these aren't my words now. I don't want to get in trouble for this, but someone told me that Castor is so they're undercutting everybody else, right?
Oh,
They've
of
got much
course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
cheaper price of gear, but they're not actually a gear company. They are a data company.
Of course they are. With a name like Castor, it has nothing. You know what I mean? You've Rugby Tech, you've Rhino, you've all these brands, and you're like a Canterbury. But Castor to me sounds. I think it sounds like they make components for the construction industry. Do you know what I mean? I'm
I don't
after.
know what the fuck they sound like, but apparently they're a data company and they know
Wait,
nothing
is
about
the what's the
sports.
Irish? What's the Irish for hammer? What's Castor? It's Castor. Sorry, I thought I was onto something there. Go ahead.
Okay.
They're a
Uh, uh,
data company. That's gross.
yeah. So they'll own the data by having these like insight to all these teams. How nuts is that? I was like, fucking hell. Leave us alone. Just when Adidas and like others were finally getting their shit together with like women's gear and have finally started to learn that women and men are shaped differently and they've started to make women specific boots and all these things, someone comes in and undercuts them that doesn't have any experience in this industry. I'm like, well, this is fucking great.
Do you know who needs to make a comeback? Take them all out. Gil-
Umbro.
Gilbert.
Oh yeah.
Gilbert needs to make a comeback. Do you know what I mean? They still have the ball. Like, you know what I mean? They need to start making the boots, big old fucking boots for the forwards.
The
And
fingerless gloves.
fingerless gloves. Yeah. I wore a scrum cap for a while when I had stitches in my head. And somebody gave me a Gilbert. Was it a Gilbert? I think it was no, it was a rugby. It was Rugby Tech one anyway. Anyway, it was much more comfort. The Gilbert one, mate.
Rugby tech. Oh my
Rugby Tech.
god.
Yeah.
Rugby tech.
Yeah. Isn't you going all Cork all of a sudden with the nostalgia? You're like, oh my
What the
God,
hell?
Rugby Tech, like.
Rugby tech.
Yeah, but you know,
Um,
like so. As far as the Weeby shorts, I don't know who Leinster are playing next. Munster have now the interesting one. Like we call a spade a spade. Cardiff were good, right? But everybody's starting out. But they've Edinburgh on Friday night, and that'll be a different gravy of monkeys. Do you know
hmm.
what I mean? Like it tends to be. I don't know who they'll have back and stuff like that for Edinburgh, but it tends to be a bit more of a humdinger.
Was Ben Healy playing for Edinburgh there?
I don't know. I haven't been keeping an eye on Edinburgh at all. At all.
I
Like,
think he was. I think he
was
was.
he?
Isn't that gas? Like even since like how long have we been doing this podcast now? Like fucking Ben Healy was our like next Irish 10.
Do you know, he popped into my head the other day. Weirdly, I saw something about the ploughing championship, and it was something to do with wheat or something like that. And I don't know why he did, because we had a very brief online conversation one time that he's from North Tipperary, and they were wheat farmers or something. And that popped into my head. I went, Ben fucking Healy. What an unbelievable player. Like, speaking of guys that go out get put out to pasture, apparently Ross Byrne had an unbelievable game at the weekend,
For Gloucester.
which is again a bit of a sheesh moment for Leinster when you consider their golden boy is kind of fucking around.
I'd be delighted if I was Ross Byrne watching
Oh,
that.
have you just for the crack? And this is some Batman villain level kind of nerdy shit, right? But it is kind of funny. Have you seen Ross Byrne shave the head? He looks way
Oh no, I
tougher.
didn't.
He looks way tougher. The hair is nice and tight, like. And I was interested that that's what Sam Prendergast, that's where he keeps his hair. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. And he looks strong. I tell you, he looked big. And he Tomas Williams as the scrum half alongside him. Like, so you're going to look
Mm.
class. Like, here's a class operator right there. Like, so Yeah, he came back and was like he kicked into gear in the second half. They were 31-0 down, Gloucester were, and he came back and won the match. But by all accounts, Ross Byrne caught the whole situation by the scruff of the neck and went, right, fucking right, guys. Fuck this, he said in his Ross
Fuck this.
O'Carroll. Fuck this for a bag of fucking Hino cans.
We're going to beat those pack of virgins. Who are they playing?
They were
I just was laughing at the Russell Carl Kelly virgin reference from earlier.
and then they hit Orkboard afterwards. Nothing but rock chants.
Orkor!
On a serious horseplay.
The Koh Samui Cup.
Rock chants. God, lads bleeding red and white. Just
Right, left, and centre.
left, right, and centre. Absolutely. I don't know who they're playing.
Inaugural. What do they call it? Oh, the Koh Samui Cup. Yeah,
The Koh Samui Cup. Just 5 bottle of Chang on the bar. You packet of V's wouldn't do anything about that. But yeah, I don't know who they were playing. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Sale. I feel like it was Sale, but maybe I'm wrong.
But when you get Ross Byrne, you're like, that's how you get retribution. Like that's how you do it, because it's not like he went to Japan or he went to Australia or something. He's in the Prem, which is weird. I guess I struggle with shortening names. Like if it's not necessary. Like it wasn't that hard. I know they're trying to track.
You can see the Premiership if you want.
Can you? I thought Gallagher had kind of stuck their heels to the ground, said, "Now we're calling it Prem." Yeah, it's Prem. Premiership's gone. It's not going to be on any other things anymore. It's Prem now.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't realise that it was officially shortened.
I'm not being a knob here by just, like I said, fave a little while back, which will live with me for at least 6 months. I will think about that every day for 6 months that I said fave on air. I've said it twice now. But no, they do. It's called the Prem now.
Anyway, so while we're talking about the Prem, call it the Prem anyway, but I'd call the women's the Prem. I'm not sure about the men's. But Saracens, sorry, I know we're running out of time right now, but Saracens' new branding, Epic. I don't know if you've seen that.
I saw the ad.
Very, very good.
I struggled with the ad at first. I went, what kind of a fucking Guy Ritchie thing am I watching here at all? Because I didn't really know what I was watching. But then I watched it with knowing what I was seeing, and I went, okay, right. Yeah, this is a bit grassrootsy. Really, I like it without being weird. Yeah.
Grassrootsy, but pure London. They never really showed off before, and it's so saris. Like, I think it's great. Like, and it really makes me kind of understand them a little bit more, actually, I feel. And even through the women's game, I never really fully understood that. But that ad kind of really framed it really well for me.
They need to get a few jerseys into like the next Guy Ritchie movies, even if he's doing like a period piece. Like he's doing the next King Arthur or whatever, or EastEnders. They need to get a few Sarries jerseys into EastEnders.
Well, yeah, actually that'd be fucking smart, wouldn't it? But what? So and then they have like they post afterwards. They obviously pre-recorded all of these, I reckon, for the whole season of all the other Prem's logos. So they beat Bristol Bears and they showed a bear being squashed, and then they beat Newcastle and they squashed a can of Red Bull.
Yes, yeah.
So they've obviously, I'm like, now it's a thing. So now you're like gonna follow and see what they do. It's just fucking genius. Like, see what they come up with every weekend. But while on the topic of Red Bull, Diamond got the old. Was given wings.
He was given wings. I mean, with a name like Steve Diamond, you don't get rid of that guy. But they gave him the fucking road after one game. I mean, they must have. You wonder that it because do you know you see these TV shows and stuff, and there's the supervillain guy at the top that's always loosely based on like Elon Musk or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, or some Lex Luthor or whatever. Is that what's at the top of Red Bull? Because Red Bull shouldn't work. It shouldn't be as popular as it is. It's damn near poison, the stuff they're selling in a can. Do you know what I mean? At least Monster have the good grace to be a bit trailer park. Do you know what I mean? They sponsor things like the NASCAR. monster trucks. You know, they've lads and women with their tits and ass hanging out. Like it, you know, they're like, yeah, they're a bit, you go, okay, well, the stuff you're drinking, you know, okay, it wouldn't look weird with a fag in your hand. Whereas Red Bull sponsors like, you know, extreme games and Formula One and now a rugby team. Not saying there needs to be, there's a hoity-toity vibe to it, but you're like, how the fuck are ye,
Hmm.
like, they had a guy jump from space. Did you actually jump
Hmm.
out of a thing from space? And how did you get so big? Because almost like Apple brand, you go, oh, well, there you make good computers. You know, Nokia, Jesus, you went from cutting timber to making phones and you did a good job at that for as long as you did. Red Bull are making a bad job of what they're doing. Like the thing they're making is a bad joke. How are they so big? So is it
Don't
a
know.
lunatic at the top who just goes, "We are going to win everything," and then they lose their first game and they went, "Fire him!" like,
Yeah, because they don't know anything about it. Yeah, yeah.
like you,
I don't know.
Jesus, give him the season, give him till Christmas. Do you know what I mean? Like one
Yeah.
game, bye bye. It makes me think that they've got somebody hired. They've got somebody hired.
Mm. Any
That's
inklings?
oh, I've absolutely, you would have far more on the ground thoughts than or you know, or with little sparrows whispering in your ears, landing just as Anna lays like a pie. Just think of this, people. Anna lays a pie. She makes a lovely she lays a pie out in the wind, out in the wind. Yeah, exactly. And she's
Sorry, that was
put,
supposed to be background music while you were explaining.
and it is normally good, but Zoom cuts one of us out when the other one is talking shit. I had to stop there to let the Shrek soundtrack in the background. But so Anna puts her latticed summerberry pie out on the windowsill, and as she stands there, a little sparrow lands on her index finger and says, "Shh, shh, Anna." She goes, "Oh, hello, little birdie. Hello. She goes, what have you been doing today?" "I was over at Newcastle Falcons place. They're sponsored by fucking Red Bull now." "No way, little birdie. And what's the plan?" "Well, Steve Diamond is on shaky ground. He doesn't know, but I think he's only got one game left." "Really, little birdie? But who could possibly replace him?" "Ask my friend. He's landed on your other finger." And a giant fucking Red Bull comes out of the fucking gate and he's just leaning his chin up on your finger. And he's like, "Anna, I know who's going to be taking over before Christmas. And I think you might know him as well. Just saying." And he goes off into the distance, and the little sparrow flies off, and then your pie cools down, and then we all find out in the coming weeks that Anna already knew that either somebody that begins with R has been has been just the gate to the field full of Red Bulls has been left open, and if they want to wander in there for about £800,000, they can if they want, no problem. I'm just saying, you may or may not know him, but I feel somebody with the beginning initial R is going to show up in Newcastle this side of Christmas. I have a feeling, and I don't know. You might be telling me you don't know, but I have a funny feeling when you put that pie out, just to cool down on the windowsill and you're doing your little singing, that some of the wild animals have told you a couple of secrets. Just saying. You are Henry Sellers. You made the BBC.
I really want to add that I know absolutely fucking nothing here.
Oh, listen to Jerry Adams here. Look, she's just I want to categorically state that I was not in an organization that I knew nothing about.
I did not have relations with that woman.
I don't believe you. I not 100% believe you. I really want to believe you because I'm like, I know Anna wouldn't lie to me, but I think you've heard mootings. Like, you don't run in the circles you run in. Like, you're a fancy
Well,
Dan. You're a fancy Dan. You made the BBC, for God's sake.
yeah. Well, all we spoke about in BBC was R360 actually, which is going down the
Oh,
Swanee
yeah.
now. Right, so
Jeez.
we don't have to talk about that.
No, I think we all saw that getting like the elbows came together fairly stiff on that one. It was like, what? What? Do
Oh,
you know when you're four deep at the bar and you're like, oh look, there's a gap. I'll get through there, and then all of a sudden, People who are sober enough realize that you're trying to budge through. Our 360 was trying to just get a sneaky pint, four deep at the bar, and then all of a sudden, closed. Nah, you're not getting a sniff.
Mm,
I'll be honest, I don't fucking fully know what it is because I knew it was dead in the water before I fully read the first article about it. When it's nice, but rugby as a whole is it ain't going to let you in.
it's
It
not
just
what we need. It's not what we need.
no. Because even
And
when
I
I listened
think,
to Mike Tyndall trying to sell it on a podcast one time, I was like, man, even you don't fully believe in this. Because you're like,
yeah,
yeah, we're nearly there, and this, that, and the other. Like, what? You don't give a shite. You're just burning up a bit of time here, and I think you've gotten heavy investment, and it's a sweet paycheck for 6 months of lip service. Like, it was never going to what a new or rugby organization. Like, Jesus Christ Almighty, and the rugby team's folding. What are you talking about?
yeah, exactly. But see, that's the thing. But also, do you know what it gets rid of is history. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, but
yeah.
the game is nothing without its history. Like, what are you going to talk about in the dressing rooms? You know, like,
That's why that's why I really struggle with American football because like you could be like
yeah.
they could be the do you know the mallow
But the whole
fuck
ego be.
the mallow cowboys, but the next thing I buy them the franchise and I can move it to Tipperary and suddenly they're the Tipperary Cowboys. And how what do you do
So
now?
what? So what you end up doing then is you can't talk about. So let's take Munster because Munster is a wonderful example here. But like it's the same in like Wales. Like I feel so sorry for them, and like
Oh,
some of the Prem clubs like Bath and Bristol, that are pure, and then like Wasps who moved, like that was just so fucked up.
weird.
Like
Yeah,
and
weird.
so when you bring it back to history, and let's use Munster as an example, like you're a part of something so much bigger. So your ego actually has nothing to do with it. Like it's not about you at all. Whereas when that's gone, you have to start when you talk about, why are you working so hard? It's for you because actually you're not representing anything else then, so your ego has to take up a much bigger space in the fucking dressing room. Like that's what we're talking about there with American sports. And like the women's uh well there's a version of the women's elite rugby WER. It's like a new they should have just gone with the MLR because at least the MLR is tied to like cities, but it's just this new, like they're also tied to cities but they're brand new like franchises. I'm
In
like, oh,
America.
another yeah, in America, like, and there's lots of investment and it seems to be kind of good ideas, but I'm just like, you're missing like a home connection. Like that's what
The only thing is it's fucking America and you made it perfect. Perfect. You pointed out perfectly there. Oh, they have you must fill it with your ego then, which totally defies what a team sport is supposed to be because you think of like Larry Bird in basketball, apparently a complete tramp to play with, like a bollocks, but an unbelievable player. Like, you know what I mean? Same with Michael Jordan, a fucking nightmare to play with. Like, because, but his ego carried the thing. But what? And I remember talking about this before, and it was actually a debate that you wouldn't normally find the likes of me at. It was like a university debate or whatever they're talking, and it came up about team sports. And of course, a couple of lads in corduroy trousers absolutely hated team sports because of the representation of actually warfare and the fervent feeling that I'm like, what? You think people going to matches immediately want to kill somebody and join an army afterwards? And that's kind of what they were suggesting. But my argument was, no, actually, no. You're substituting our human need for war by the Colosseum. It it appeased the fucking masses. That's why they did it. And this is just a continuation of that. We need to see battle. We need to see win. Good versus evil. Ours are good, obviously, and yours are evil. And we just need to innately see that. And sometimes that passes people by in life. And when they get to their adulthood, they hate team sports and all organized. Okay, all right, you got stung. I understood. Yeah, it wasn't in your house. Or maybe you didn't make the team. Okay. But Jesus Christ, there you can see the blatant reasoning for it. But as you said, like, what have you to talk about? What war cry can you have? Hey, we're the New Hampshire butterflies, and we the paint is still fresh on the wall. And you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. But talking about like fresh paint on the wall, you actually have to sit down and like come up with values.
Yeah.
You know, and then everyone's talking shit about like, oh, respect and things like that, when actually no one has any respect for each other. So, whereas if that is one of the already instilled values of a club, if you don't align with it, then you can be held accountable, kind of. So, like,
Well,
ugh,
to give the, and I'll part you on this, to give the Americans to get offer for an olive branch, but when they do lock on to like a thing, you know what I mean, like a meaning and stuff like that. Jesus Christ, I was watching. It was it was I should have sent it on to you. It was so fucking sappy and so American. It was the Steelers were over playing in the Aviva. They were playing the Vikings or whatever, and this chap, I think their founder was an old boy he was an Irish American from a million years ago, like, and these lads were balling. We actually talked about it last night, and I'll tell you, got me right now.
are these fans or players?
No, these were like coaches and fucking coaching staff, and you're like, what? What are you fucking crying about, you fucking Egypt? Like, now had no tie to Ireland themselves at all, Even the old boy that started it was of Irish American descent. But like, he always had a dream to bring the Steelers back to Ireland. Like, they don't come from Ireland. What are you fucking talking about? Like, okay, we get it, fair enough. But it was this lad balling. You're like, fair fucks to you. Fair fucks to you, lads. You've rooted out something there that struck you all. Cynical Irish players would sit around going, what? Like, but
Yeah, because Tom, we don't understand that because we are fully bred Irish. So we don't understand what it's like to have a mixed previous heritage and not have. So they're like, you know, clinging to something because they have to because that's what they are. Whereas we don't have to cling to it because we are it.
Yes.
You know? So we don't understand it.
God, I love that. So, we don't have to cling to it because we are it. Oh, Jesus. We should have that in a t-shirt. Yeah. We don't have to fake it because we are it. Jeez, that's deep and strong, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Kanye will rob that if he listens to this podcast now.
Oh, no, yeah. We should start charging at the door for this podcast. Anyway, I'm hungry. What time is it?
I'm starving. It's all hours. And I'm... Oh, did I tell you I got goats?
You were telling me that you were getting the goats. And I was telling you, oh, no. You gave me the names because I wanted you to call one of the goats Portia Woodman Wycliffe and then the other one Aoife Wafer.
No, I got pushed over for Pickle and Daisy, but they are absolute fucking bastards. And I have developed back strength and biceps that I haven't had in a while. They like breaking out. Those fucking. Now I've mastered it. They haven't broken out but I mean, Anna, this high rocks and all these new exercises and everything that are a new thing. I've developed one. It's called walk a fucking goat in your arms for 1.5 kilometers across a forest. And that
sounds class.
A 35-kilo goat. Try and walk that in your arms through a forest while trying to kick the mother up the arse to follow you home. And and not fucking lose the will to live and throw them into the river. And see how you feel after that. Got my steps in this day last week, I can tell you. Got my steps in. Forest steps. Yeah, so that's me and the goats. But they are munching all the grass and they have turned into lawnmowers. Albeit, they do like shitting. But they are adorable. They are fucking adorable to look at. So, they're adorable. Oh, Jesus Christ. I need to go and eat something. I'm fucking starving. Right. You go ahead and mind the rucks.
Mind the rucks.
The Banana and Bears Rugby Pod.